Well, here we are headed back down Highway 11 in part 2 of this adventure. We've gotten dried off from the crazy rain we just experienced, and no, it wasn't in the forecast. We've had a cup of coffee, and we're on our way to the Bad Creek access. We're going to hike straight to camp, different from our original plans of going up to Upper Whitewater Falls and hiking the few miles down to the Lower Whitewater Falls. And you know, for the record, just like in the first video, you may see me do stuff that could get me hurt or killed, so this is no advice to you to do anything that I do. You do your own thing, know your own risk tolerances. We're on the other side of the lake now, and Mike made me follow him until we got someplace it wasn't raining. See, it's dry. I don't know how he did that, but he did. So now we're going to head down back off onto the foothills to a Bad Creek. Let's go look at the map. Last night we camped here, Virginia Hawkins Falls, and we drove out and down and around, and I don't know if we were on this map. We're over here someplace. Anyways, the goal is to go that way, hit the Foothills Trail, and down on the foothills there's a camp. That's where we're headed. Don't know how far it is. We'll find out. They're going around us. Hitting the trail on day 2 here with Mike's Wild World, and we're going to make our way to the Bad Creek camp. Come on, Mike. Are you recording, Mike?
I am. Well, actually, I'm recording bear. Not recording. I'm a little close over that way.
These are almost like steps here. Wobble legs. Yeah. So last night we camped out here, then we came back around and drove over here to the Bad Creek Hydro Station, and we're heading up this way. There's a camp someplace. I personally think we ought to be going to bear camp. I'm just saying. Alright, we're theorizing, and we'll find out if we're right.
We will.
I think we're right.
We'll still be walking. Like, where is that camp?
When you come across a river, you want to follow the blue and white blaze to get to camp. This did prove to be true. The blue blaze will turn off before you get to camp though. Ooh, bonus bridge. One quick note, it's a dry hike from the river to camp. It is also uphill. I've been calling this Bad Creek campsite. I'm corrected now. This is Whitewater campsite. So we left out, we're on the red dots. This goes
we went that
up.
way first.
Yeah, that was the oops. And you come across, and the blue trail spurs off this way, and you continue on foothills till we get here to go down to the camp area.
Okay.
They don't show water down there. Hopefully that's a pond. I need water.
Let's go see.
Alright, so we came into camp over here, and we gotta go back up there in the morning. Over that hill is the bear cable. You come into camp and you've got a fire ring here. We're gonna use these trees for our hammocks. We've got another fire ring. You could probably get a hammock in over here. Your water source is this little spring, this little stream that's coming out. There's a cistern up there. There's this little piece of PVC pipe. It wasn't in the water good up top. Mike worked and dug that out a little bit. We propped a rock on it to hold it in. We got good water flow right here now, so we don't have to walk up through the woods to mess with the cistern. We can just get water here by camp and filter it. Good morning from day 3. Let's go find coffee. So camp's on the other side of the hill there. You come up the hill and come back down, and the scouts, where are we at? The scouts have created a bear bag pulley. I gotta get my food. This hill is way too steep for flip-flops. I need a different camp shoe. Man, last night we had the strangest weather patterns. This wind kicked up. It seemed like it was above us along the ridge lines around us. And it would come around in waves. It was enough to wake you up. One time it came through camp and blew the hammock pretty hard. Wow, this is a hill. Almost need switchbacks. Alright, time for breakfast. I'm going fancy this morning with the Cafe Bustelo. And I've got porridge. This is tent meals from the UK. I've got sour cherry and chocolate. I shot a video about it, but you hadn't seen it. Maybe I'll post it this year. Oh, if I was a smart guy, I would have measured out my water for my porridge first. A cup of coffee. And then we'll measure water for the porridge. I roughly use my fingers to divide my 700 ml bottle and figure out where 100 and 200 mils were.
Leave on the corner here for you, okay?
Alright. So, I gotta get some hot water from my porridge. The old pocket rocket doesn't take long to bring us to a boil.
Now, is that the whole set was a jet boil, or?
No, that's a pocket rocket on top.
Oh, okay.
Just jet boil gas.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the old original pocket rockets. It's not quite as pocket size as the new ones.
Sometimes I have a hard time justifying buying the better stuff when you see one right beside it, and it's, half the cost.
It doesn't always pay to buy the better stuff, honestly.
There's some good knockoffs, and they're good.
And there's some good budget gear, and that's why you see me talk about it and feature it so much, is because actually I like it that it gives people a chance to get out in the woods. Alright, I didn't bring my koozie with me, so I'm just going to use my little pot that I heated up my food in to be my koozie. And we'll let my porridge hang out for 7 minutes, and I'm eating breakfast from the UK. I imported it.
What is porridge?
Hot cereal.
Like oatmeal, or?
Yeah, porridge. Woo, I almost went on the other side of the bench. If I'm not mistaken, porridge is just in general hot cereal. Thank you, bacon. So of course I had to come home and look it up. So from an article on mash.com, the real difference between porridge and oatmeal, it says that porridge is any grain, cereal, or legume boiled in milk, water, or even broth, and served hot. The grains can be any combination of oats, rice, corn, maize, barley, and wheat. Oatmeal is interestingly a type of porridge, so while all oatmeal is porridge, all porridge is decidedly not oatmeal. Oatmeal is made from rolled, ground, or flattened oats and can be purchased as old-fashioned or steel-cut rolled oats or quick oats in the grocery store. Porridge is native to the Scandinavian area of Northern Europe that includes Norway, Sweden, and Finland, while oatmeal is a Scottish dish. I'll include the article link in the description of the video if you'd like to read it. Porridge, I'm not sure. Bacon appetizer. Thank you. I think I used a little too much water. We're just going to let it hang out for a little bit, or I'm going to have porridge soup. That's what happens when you guess in the woods without a measuring cup. I guess me counting out milliliters like this wasn't quite right because I think I got too much water. I'll show you what I got. I'm gonna eat soup this morning. Chocolate sour cherry porridge soup. You're probably not gonna like the way this looks, but I promise you it's gonna taste better than it looks. There we go. There's Bear's fancy breakfast this morning in his freezer bag. Let's give her a taste. See what my soup tastes like. I've got a spoon here someplace. Where'd you go? You go. Yeah, I left it in my bag. There we go. Pumpkin seeds, cherries, nuts, whatever else is in here. Wheat. She's a yummy. A little sweet and tart all at the same time. Does a bear poop in the woods if no one's there to see it? Look here, hiker code. Mark your buried treasure so no one else digs there. When you get done with that quick morning scurry into the woods, that's a perfect time to sanitize. A lot of trail sickness that gets blamed on a water source is improper sanitizing after you've done your business. Now I'm ready for more coffee. There's a hidden water feature here at camp. Haha, check that out. Man, it'd be such a better water source than what we had last night. We even have a nicer stream than what we had at camp. I think this is the water source the Foothills Trail Guidebook references. Boy, a small amount of work, and 12 hours later, this guy is just flowing away. And it's a much improved water source. I might have a half a bottle here real fast. Camel up before we hit the trail. Here's a little mountain spring water. Oh yeah. I was hiking on this trail one day, and I get down to the falls, and there's this fella sitting there with his girl, and he's like, "Do you have a filter?" "Oh, yeah, I got a filter." He's like, "Can we use it and get some water?" He had a water bottle. They were just day hiking. Yeah. Well, before he gets my filter for me, the first thing he does is take his water bottles and start rinsing them out in the creek. And I'm like, "You just contaminated your water bottle. You know that, don't you?" "Yeah, okay. Can I filter some water?"
Didn't get it. Didn't get it. Yeah.
Well, that's the whole purpose of the filter.
Okay. Ready, Bear?
I'm ready. Down trail. On the way out, we detoured to Lower Whitewater Falls. All right, so we dropped pack at the top of the spur trail, and we walked down to Whitewater Falls, Lower Whitewater Falls. We're gonna go check it out. You can hear them. I can see the viewing platform, and let's go see them.
In the woods.
Arr! Man!
What you seeing, Bear?
Wow! That is incredible. Holy cow. You need to come see this.
Let me get mine down on the ground. Tilt down.
Oh, that's so awesome. All right, so I got Mike's Wild World, and he walked me down here. We're both taking ibuprofen when we get back up top to our packs, I think. It's a good walk in, but the question is was it worth it?
I've lived in upstate South Carolina my entire life. I've never seen this view. I've heard other people talk about it, and now I'm here. And it kind of completes something I've always wanted to do in my life, to see the upper falls, lower falls at a rain event. We've had a lot of rain, as in part one, we had a lot of rain, so the falls look great. And I'm as curious about that big hole in the rock as I can be. I want to go in there. I want to see what's coming out of it or what's going in it. So I kind of got a feeling there's no access to it. So you never hear about that anyways. That's Bear's next big challenge, is to go in that hole in the rock. So.
Hey, if you know what's in that cave on the Whitewater Falls, put it down in the comments. Tell us what it is. Something living there? Bigfoot? Aliens? You know, I always say, never waste a good sitting rock on the trail. So Mike and I have a rest on our way back up to the foothills. As we depart Bad Creek, we decide to drive up to the upper Whitewater Falls and check out the overlook. And with the miracle of video editing, we'll skip straight to the upper Whitewater Falls, starting at the upper overlook, then moving to the lower. So I bring you upper Whitewater Falls from the upper overlook. We'll skip the series of steps and go straight to the lower overlook. Well, after we finish up at the falls, Mike and I head our separate ways. Maybe our paths will cross once again on the trail. In the meantime, I make my way down Highway 11 and find the Long Shoals Roadside Park. One of the first things I see when I make it to the water is a giant head looking over the stream. The park seems to be a popular hangout for the locals to get a little time in the water, including a natural slide on the rocks. After my stop at the park, I continued my way along Highway 11, but I did make a stop for that post-hike meal that Mike and I talked about, a little barbecue along the way. I stopped and got an appetizer of smoked Cajun shrimp, chopped brisket plate with black-eyed peas and collards, and macaroni and cheese. Oh yeah. Well, thanks for coming along with me, and we'll see you on the trail.